Hey, what's going on? This is Jim Bode, and I am excited for our upcoming Zoom call. We're going to really be able to crush you through some good stuff, and that is where this Q&A is going to really help us with that. This is going to answer a lot of the questions that you're probably going to have. It's not going to go into great detail, but it's going to give you some good groundwork to start with, so you won't be overwhelmed in trying to ask every single question you have. You'll have a pretty good baseline of what it is when you get there with me. Because the big things we really want to go over is, I want to see where you're at in this process. I want to see, what you feel like's been holding you back and what you think your biggest challenges are. Plus what your goals and your dreams with this are and why you really want to open up a sober living home. So I'm going to jump into these questions. The PDF is going to be down below, so you can just read it if you want. And here we go. So how much startup capital do I actually need? So with sober living homes, if you're not going to buy a home, you can rent a home. So it's not an enormous amount of capital. So if you're going to rent a home, you're probably going to need like your first and last month's rents, maybe some more deposits. So depending on your area, it can be anywhere from as low as I've seen people start these up for is $3,000, and it can be all the way up depending on if you're in a high rent area. So it's going to be very specific. Do I need a license to open a sober living home? You absolutely do not in most states. There's only about 5 states where licensing is really important/mandatory. So if you're not in any of those 5 states, then you're going to be good to go. And if you're in any of those 5 states, we just have to work through the licensing process, which is completely a doable thing. And I can show you how to do that. Number 3, what do residents pay and what can I really expect to earn? You realistically can expect to earn much, much more than you ever would earn with a single family rental, because you're going from renting that one home for a specific price to each bed at a different price. So it's exponentially more over the grand scheme of the home, because let's just say you have a 4-bedroom home and you're putting 2 people in each bedroom, which is really important to do. That's going to bring you in, 8 different people's payments. So it's going to be a lot more than just renting it out to one family. And I mean, it's again going to be very specific in your area, because you could be in a really low rent area where you might only be able to get $500 a month for your bed, or you could be in a very high rent area where you can get $2,000+ a month for your bed, like some places in California. So number 4, these are operational questions. What legal structure should I use, nonprofit or an LLC? The simple answer to that is you're going to want to start with an LLC. You're not going to want to come out of this and be a nonprofit, because it's just not, you're not there yet. You need to get up, you need to get running, you need to get some of these things figured out, you need to have a good home. Then you can branch into the nonprofit realm to try to start getting other types of funding, to start doing fundraising and get donations. But start just with the basic LLC, and that's going to protect you the most that you can be protected, and it's going to just give you an easy established business that you can have up and running very quickly. And that is the name of this game. This game is all about quick. The quick one in this game really wins, because I'd rather you make some decisions now and have to correct it than never make any decisions and never move forward, because then you're never going anywhere. The corrections are much easier, especially if you have someone guiding you who can help you not have to go into some of the pitfalls that you can really avoid. Can I run this part-time, or do I need to quit my job? You absolutely can run this part-time. You can have multiple homes and still run this part-time and keep your job if that's what you want. But once you start building this out and you have 4, 5, 6 homes, and if you're the one who's going to run all of these and you're not going to build it out as a structure and have a team that runs it for you, then you still don't specifically have to quit your job if you have a little flexibility in your job. But if you have a rigid 9 to 5, you may want to look for some help, just because sometimes you'll need to do things throughout the day. But there's no rush to quit your 9 to 5, and you may never have to quit your 9 to 5 if you choose not to, even if you scale. How do I find and screen the right residents? So screening is one of the most important things that we do. Properly screening your residents really makes sure that you're getting the right people in your home that fit your culture and fit what exactly you want that home to look and feel like. And a bad person in the home can absolutely wreck a whole house. They can make you lose everyone in that house, and then you'll just have that bad apple there. But the beautiful thing in this model is you are allowed to remove those bad apples, and if you have the right process that I can show you, you'll never even have to bring them into your home. Number 7, what are the biggest mistakes new operators make? So the most common ones that I see are people that rely on just private pay. They just rely on one payment source, and especially if it's private, instead of building the relationships and referrals that will give you guys constant people coming in, and then also skipping solid written rules and enforcing those rules. If you don't have clear rules and if you don't enforce those rules consistently and evenly across your house, it will wreck your whole house without a doubt. And then also choosing the wrong markets, going into a place where you're rural and it needs to be more urban, or vice versa. Trying to go after the wrong people. And one of the biggest things I really see people do is not picking a niche and just thinking they can go after all kinds of different things. I'm going to take sober living. I'm going to take veterans. I'm going to take men. I'm going to take women. I'm going to take elderly. I'll do whatever. Just send me people. That is a recipe for disaster. If you do everything, no one will give you anything, I promise. So, marketing and growth questions. Where do residents actually come from? So residents come from referral networks. This is where you're going to get the majority of your people. Those referral networks are going to be inpatient drug clinics, detox centers, sometimes hospitals. It's going to be churches have programs like this, your local nonprofits. And you're also going to probably be working with the Department of Corrections if they have that in your area, DOC. So that is the reentry program. So people processing out of prison, they fit perfectly in these sober living homes. So building that network properly and knowing what to do, what to say, and how to run your business with it is just the key that we're going to be able to show you how to do. So that way they want to give you referrals. So when they think of, hey, where's a great house for people to go to? Boom, you're going to come to top of mind. Cool. And then how do I keep my homes consistently full? Occupancy comes down to three things. It's going to be your referral pipeline, your reputation, and your retention. So sorry, I'm reading that, but it's really going to be building those networks, reaching out to those networks, doing a good job so people want to refer you, and then doing a good job so people want to stay, because you can have people stay in these homes for a long time. I've had a person in one of my homes for around 4 years now, because this ultimately becomes affordable housing and it's sober living. So if they already struggle with that addiction and they have a great safe place to stay and they're comfortable with the setup and like where they're at, why would they want to leave? And there's no real need for you to push them out. If you have more long-term tenants, then you can open more houses. So it's just a win-win. We never set parameters on how long people can be in our homes, because if they want to be there as long as they want, and as long as they're following the rules and staying sober and doing what they're supposed to do, then they're in the right place. And if they're doing wrong things and they're not staying sober, they cannot be in that home. Can this grow into multiple homes? 100% this can grow into multiple homes. We've had up and running as many as 14 at one time. So it's absolutely doable. We have people all the time that are getting on their second home and third home and sixth home. So you absolutely can grow this. You absolutely should grow this. That's where this becomes really amazing. When you have multiple homes and you can shift people that might not fit in one home over to another home, and you never have to turn people away because you always have beds, because the way your structure is, because you'll always be full, but you always are going to kind of have some beds, because there's always some level of flux in these homes. So there's always, when you have multiple, you kind of can always fit someone in, even though you're kind of always full. I know it sounds weird, but sometimes you'll have somebody coming in 2 weeks. So that bed will already be full, even though it's empty, but sometimes you can park someone there for a week or two while another bed opens up. It's an amazing thing when you are really flowing in your homes. So before we hop on this call, there's a couple of questions that people always ask. Is it free to coach? Is there a cost to this coaching program? And yes, there absolutely is a cost to this. But first, you can jump on and you can just go and get into my school group and get 7 free days. So you can watch the videos, you can show up to a first live Q&A and really see the value that's in this. Because if you come to that and you don't see the value, great, then you're not going to see the value. But if you come to that and you see the value and feel that we can really help you get your home up and running fast and keep it full and scale out to the next home or next 5 homes or however many more you want to do, then it's going to be worth you coming in and taking the time to invest in yourself in this home. And then what if I don't have any money to invest right now? If you don't have anything to invest right now, that's okay. You're just not ready. But what you need to do is start planning for it and start saving for it. So that way you have, depending on your area, you need to find out how much a home rent's for in your area so you know how much to save. If you're trying to buy a home or use one of your own homes, well, then you need to know how much it's going to cost and figure out what it's going to take to actually get that home up and running and get furniture in it and get all those things in it. But If you're not ready right now, that's okay. Just keep watching my content. You'll get lots of free stuff. Check out the free week. It's still worth checking it out. But just don't be discouraged in that. You just have to start saving for it, because it's going to be worth it to have a mentor and someone who's going to help you exponentially quicker get to where you want to be and really miss the things that drain you of your money, especially when money's tight. It's more important when money's tight to have proper coaching and guidance than it is when money's abundant, because you don't have money to lose. So you really need to miss all of those problems. And for the investment in the coaching, you will miss most of those problems, if not all of them. So what happens next and on this Zoom call? So our call is not going to be a heavy sales pitch. I don't have too much to sell you. I run a Zoom group. You can go over and look at the price and jump onto a free week right now. But really what this is about is this is going to be about us talking about your goals. We're going to talk about your market, your vision, and the kind of home that you want to open, and whether or not this is really the right fit for you, because opening sober living homes isn't for everyone. So I really would rather flush that out with you than have to answer all the questions we just went over. So if you have other questions, bring them to the table when we're there. Just to be clear, we're not getting into simply a coaching session, and this is not a pitch fest for me trying to sell you stuff. This is us just trying to figure out where you're at, where we can take you, and if this is a good fit for us to take this ride together. I look forward to our call. And if you don't meet some of these criteria and these aren't things you want to do and you're not ready to invest in yourself, that's okay. I don't think we should have this call because you're not there yet. And so go ahead and hit the cancel link. But if you're coming, I really can't wait to talk with you.